Alright, so next we have a big old Trane single stage condenser for just a normal AC clean and check after the furnace. I'm just checking out the data tag here. I'm seeing 410A, 8 degrees of subcooling, plus or minus 3 degrees. As we saw the cased coil downstairs, I'm just gonna assume that it's a TXV. Most of that company's stuff is TXV anyways. Especially newer ones. Man, if I'm being honest, I really dislike Trane equipment. I really don't like it. Mostly because of the coil and this stupid shroud outside the coil. You can never get that thing off. It's such a pain in the butt. Oh, anyways, here we go. So we have removed the 2 bolts, pulled the disconnect. We're gonna pull the cover off to reveal the contactor and the capacitor, as well as all the wiring. Let's go ahead and give it a little look-see right here. See if we see what we see. Check. We're checking for any obvious damage to any of the wiring or any of the other components. Just give it a brief look over with a little hand broom or a little paintbrush. The paintbrush works well too. It's much more delicate than that other broom is. So give it a little sweep off and we'll move on to the other components next. First component we're going to check over is going to be the contactor. Go ahead and remove the 2 low voltage 24 volt wiring, your multimeter, switch it over to ohms of resistance. Want to check across this coil right here for resistance. You want to see somewhere between, I don't know, say 9 ohms and 20 ohms. 16 is wonderful. 16 is normal. So the coil's good on the contactor. Go ahead and put our low voltage wires back on. Remember, do not do this unless you pulled the disconnect. Another thing we're going to do, just go ahead and check it out, see if there's any burn marks or any pitting. That'll be an indicator of possible voltage drop across the contactor from one side to the other. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll move on to the capacitor. Next, we're going to check out the capacitor. This capacitor is a 45.5 capacitor, plus or minus 6%. Want to measure both to common. Now you can tell this is obviously rusted out enough where you're not going to be able to see Herm, common, or fan. So a good way to tell is whichever terminal has 4, whichever thing has 4 terminals on it is the common. The one that has 3 terminals on it is the compressor, and the one with either 1 or 2 terminals on it is the fan. So only need to remove 1 wire. Switch your multimeter over to microfarads. We'll go from common to the fan, and we will see 5.14. That side is good. Open. You can see that this connection's pretty loose. So we'll go ahead and tighten this thing up before putting it down, because we don't want any arcing, any electricity to be arcing inside the cabinet here. We'll put that one back on, and then we'll go to the compressor side. Compressor side will measure from common to the Herm, and we will get 45.9 microfarads, which is obviously right where we'd like to see it. And so that one's pretty tight, and so we do not need to tighten that one up. Alright, at this point you can go ahead and put the cabinet back together, and we'll prepare to check the refrigeration. Okay, so given the system about 10 or 15 minutes to run, and what we have found is this. Oops. Okay, what we have found is 16 degrees of subcooling and 19 degrees of superheat. And if you remember, unit calls for 8 degrees plus or minus 3. So, high superheat and high subcooling. Which, if we look at our chart for a TXV system, high superheat and subcooling would equal a liquid line restriction. So the problem is that the customer has been comfortable all summer long and has no complaints about the AC. So at first I thought the system was just simply overcharged, but now that I'm looking at that high superheat, I'm gonna guess that there's a restriction somewhere. But again, the customer hasn't noticed anything, so all I'm gonna do here is inform the customer of what I have found and wait until something happens. Because I don't, a TXV is a big job, and I really don't want to push her into doing something like that, immediately when she hasn't even experienced anything going wrong with the AC itself. The thing is less than 10 years old, so I imagine that it's all still under parts warranty, but I haven't checked. So that's about where it's at. Good old Trane. Alright, you all. We'll catch you on the next one. Make sure you clean the coil. It's the most important part. And no, I'm not taking it apart. Can't stand these condensers. Nope, just gonna spray it from the outside. If you don't like it, cry about it. Cry about it.